Hey guys, welcome to the Texaco Camaro page, sponsored by Fram Filters. We wanted to come today and just kind of give a recap on the round 2 of the Optima Ultimate Street Car series. We just left Nola, just outside of New Orleans in Avondale, and give kind of a recap on the Texaco Camaro, how we did, how things are looking, and also add in a couple of other things. With the die-cast car, the 1/18 scale is going to be coming out this year, the big one. There's already 4 versions out: the hitch and tow, 2 1/43 scales. One of the 1/43 is the 2021 National Championship GTV car, and there's a couple of the Hot Wheels size cars, the little smaller 1/64s that are out. But talk a little bit about that, because there's a special version that's out there that I think some people may miss if they see them on the shelves, or there's a potential for you to go to Summit Racing and ask them for this special version, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But also wanted to talk a little bit about the points recap, where we're at with the competitors that ran in round 1 at Thunder Hill, and what the season's going to kind of shape up to look like. And then also on the live stream and the broadcast for the series at the end of the year, or potentially somewhere towards the middle of the year, running to the end of the year on the series. Things are going to change up a little bit there, but I think it's all for the better. I mean, we've really seen a lot of positive feedback, and even myself looking at the live stream whenever the round 1 was happening out in California at Thunder Hill, watching some of the competitors out there having fun, and just listening to some of the commentary from Optima Jim with Optima batteries, and then the other drivers kind of interviewing and talking about the other drivers while they're racing. And then you've got this great interaction of drivers talking about the other drivers, and the people that have been in the series for some time, so they kind of know the people that are out there and kind of know how it all works, which is really fun to hear. It's always good to get you talk to a lot of people, but you don't get to talk to everybody and get to hear their insights and what they're doing with their cars and how they're feeling about the weekend and things like that. So it's real time, and that's something that we haven't had in the Optima Ultimate Street Car since it's been in existence. We've always had the TV series, which is awesome. Happens at the end of the year. You get to kind of see what happened. But for everybody to kind of tune in live stream and see what's going on, I think it adds just kind of a next level to the series. I mean, the Optima Ultimate Street Car is the preeminent, multi-segment racing series, to where you have to show up knowing how to race on the track. You got to show up doing well at Autocross. We've got a peak performance challenge segment, which is kind of almost an 1/8 of a mile drag down, do a kind of a 180 turn, come back, stop in a 20x40 box, which is like stopping in your garage at 60. So, and then there's a couple of other elements, which is the D&E, but we won't go into it on this one. We've done it in the past, and we may do it going forward a little bit. But and you have to be a street car. So all of those segments, they start to push out the true race cars and the big wing, big aero, time attack stuff. They just can't get around on the autocross and the speed stop stuff as well whenever you're set up like that. So you can go fast on the track, but then you won't do it well at the other segments, and that's where you got to have that balance. And that's the tough part about the Optima series, is that it's a balance. You can't come just set up for one segment, and you got to have reliability. That's something they added in last year, is your car has to be reliable. So going to talk a little bit about that, like I said, at the end on the GTV points. I won't go into all the classes. I don't race in those. So the vintage class is the 89 and older class. So we'll talk about who's in there, what the points look like, and how things might shake up. But to start, I did want to talk about the die-cast cars, because that's what I alluded to. We're starting to see a lot of people being able to find the hitch and tow series car out there at Hobby Lobby, and they're out there. There's a couple of other versions. All the versions are sold at Summit Racing, which is a sponsor of the Optima Ultimate Street Car series. But Hobby Lobby is carrying the hitch and tow series. And the one thing I wanted to kind of add in was, when you're out there and you see those cars, if you see the ones that have the green wheels, those are called Green Machine. Those are limited production of these limited edition cars. So you'll see the difference between the wheels of the regular version and then the green machine version where it has the green wheels on there. So, you know, if you see those out there on the shelves at Hobby Lobby, or even if you go to Summit Racing and order this version, you know, you might ask them or ask the salespeople to say, hey, can you put your hands on the green wheeled one, and I want to get that one instead. It's also in the smaller version, has the regular wheels and then the green machine. So, you know, when you're out there looking and you see the ones that have the green wheels on them, you know, those are the ones to grab because supposedly the collectors love them. You know, they're very limited edition. There's not very many of them that get produced in every case, maybe one per case. So something to look for, something I wanted to kind of just bring up for everybody because I didn't know about it until I started doing stuff with Greenlight Collectibles, the toy company that makes the car. So wanted to talk a little bit about that. Now jumping into the Optima Ultimate Street Car series for 2023. There's not a huge amount of changes to the rules. The segments and everything, how we're running it, we're basically running it like we did last year. So if you ran last year, you're going to see pretty much the similar situation. I will say for, you know, the novice drivers or people that are not novice or maybe they're intermediate or just not totally comfortable with going extremely fast, I would say if it's not your first event, if it's not your first track day, if it's not your first whatever, it's really the track that kind of gives some anxiety to people. And I've been there. You know, this is only my 4th year, so I get it, I understand it. But everybody's pretty acceptable of, you know, as long as you've been to some track days and you know what you're doing, it doesn't matter that you're not fast. We can work around that because you're only going to be out there for the practice session that might be kind of, you know, impeding people's times or what have you. But on these bigger tracks, I would definitely say that if you're not truly just fresh and don't know exactly what's going on, I wouldn't go into the novice entry because, you know, you don't get to race. A lot of the people that I've seen that have raced in the Optima Ultimate Street Car before, a few of them came out to the event and they put themselves in a novice because they haven't been a part of the series for a year or so, and they didn't realize that last year the novice only runs on Friday. So once you're done with your racing on Friday, you're done with the track for Saturday and Sunday. And, you know, that's just something that I think, you know, like I said, I've been there as the novice. My first race was Pikes Peak International. I put myself in novice. I was probably ran novice 2 or 3 races. But I think if the format was the way it is now, I probably would have only been a novice for one race. And then I would say, hey, look, I think I can keep up, especially just with what you would call maybe the intermediate group. So I feel like that, you know, I just want to kind of put that public service announcement out there if you're watching this, and read the rules on what happens if you put yourself in a novice, because novice is not what novice was in 2021 and before that. So just be careful depending on, you know, what you want to do. And I'm not saying that you need to drive outside of your abilities, but just you need to know that, because I know that some people had the ability to potentially race Saturday and Sunday, and, you know, they didn't realize that the rules had changed. But other than that, the season's pretty much, the series and the 2023 season, everything's pretty much staying the same. A couple of new tracks that have been added in. But as far as rules and things of that nature, we are wearing the Hans device or the neck restraint device, whichever one you use, on the Autocross and Speed Stop sections now. It used to be just be helmet and, you know, long sleeve clothing, things like that. You know, the race and fire suit and all the Hans device and neck restraint was all used for the track. But now for Autocross and Speed Stop, you know, we're using those. And, you know, it was a little bit of an adjustment, but honestly, you know, for me, because I'm running the Recaro Professional seats in my car, not a true racing bucket. When I wear the Hans device, I lock myself in a lot tighter because those are going around your neck and it kind of locks you in. So I felt more comfortable and stable, maybe not from a safety factor, but just from a stability factor. I was able to lock myself in tighter, like I said, because it's not a true racing bucket, which is on my list to do at some point. But I do really love my my retro custom designed Recaro Professional seats with the custom insert, 60s insert inside of there. So that is probably the biggest change, I would say. But the format, everything's the same, novice stuff, and really just, again, the series has not changed from that perspective, but it's only getting better. But the thing that has, I think it's like every year the series gets enhanced, because I did like the new changes from the prior year coming into this year, with having orientation on Friday, practice / qualifying sessions on Saturday, and the 2 track times on Sunday. So I like that format change, but the change for this year is really not in the format. It's more in how the series is covered, because if you weren't at a race, and we all can't make all the races. I had a goal and set it and did all the races last year. I had a goal. I wanted to at least be able to say to people, look, I did the complete series at one time, did every race. It was hard, but I did it. But if you can't go to these races, all the races, it's fun just to see how your class is doing, or even the other competitors that you hang out with and talk to are doing at the race, if you have the time. But the live stream, they've added in a new feature from Ride TV. Ride TV is an app. It's kind of a production company, I believe, and they're out there producing live stream. And the live stream that they produce, and it has Optima Jim from Optima Batteries, talking over it. But that live stream that they're producing is pretty phenomenal if you think about it. They're overlaying the drivers' names. They're up in the corner. They'll put what position you're in, and even if you're in there interviewing or commentating with Optima Jim, they'll put your name in there as a commentator. So it's pretty interesting, and it's pretty fun. And it's an opportunity for even outside people to see the real-time event. Friends, family, everyone else can also watch, which not all family and not all friends can come and watch your racing and see what's going on. But for a couple hours on Saturday and a couple hours on Sunday, they get to kind of tune in and see what's going on. So that's been a real pickup. I mean, that's been something that I think that I'm not a veteran enough to levy what the series should do or not do, but I have seen some other, I think it's maybe Grid Life or King of the Mountain or some other racing events that do have a live stream, and I thought it was really cool. So I'm glad we were able to kind of get that enhancement. And a lot of what I see is at every race is the drones. The drones are out there flying around, they're chasing the cars. So, and I believe that the footage that they're doing for the live stream, some of it's going to parlay into the series, or maybe all of it, and then they cut it up and have a little bit more time to put some good, commentating and just, other aspects around it, because I know that they're interviewing people and sponsors and things of that nature. So should be pretty cool. Looking forward to it. And I think so the live stream, especially for Texaco Camaro fans that may be out there, is the TexacoCamaro.com. I'm always going to have the live stream for the races that were out there, but I do have, if you hit the old live stream links, it'll take you to the Ride TV app, and you can search for Optima Ultimate Street Car and see the old ones or the new ones that may be happening. So you can always go to TexacoCamaro.com and find those live stream links on the page. I also have the live timing link there at the races that we're at, so you can see live timing on what the scoring is looking like. And then down the road, if the series, or when the series comes out, we'll have the link to the actual series, which might be on CBS Sports, it might be on MAV TV, it could be on some other channels. But we'll stay tuned on which channels it's going to be on for the series at the middle or end of the year when that happens. But as always, you can always go to the Optima network, which is Optima Batteries network, on the Roku and Fire and I believe Apple TV and things of that nature. They have the live stream while the live stream's going on. They'll have the link there. But also from 2022 on to 2014, they have all the old series for the Optima Ultimate Street Car. So pretty cool spot where you can pick up some old stuff, see some old races, and people that raced in the past and things of that nature. So from a Optima Ultimate Street Car season standpoint, just a few changes, maybe just that public service announcement for the novice people, just to know that that's going on. So let's get into Nola. So that's one of the shortest trips for us from North Texas. It's still about 8 or 9 hours, but short by nature of not traveling 17 or 30 hours. So we made the trip out there. Looked like there was going to be a little bit of weather. We did the tech inspection on Friday. Had some rain for the orientation lap session, so actually, buzzing around the track with the wipers on in a 1969 Camaro, it made me feel like the high school days when I was driving the car in high school. But I don't like getting it out in the rain, but it is a street car, and rain or shine, we're gonna race. So it wasn't a race, but it was orientation laps. We've got to check the transponder on the car to make sure that the transponder's working. So had to get out there, and it's always good to get a good look at Nola and the track. It's been a year and a half since we've been there, so it was good to get out there for that first session. Didn't really need to, but definitely got out there, knocked the little cobwebs off, saw what was going on with the S's and things of that nature. But other than that, it was kind of uneventful on a Friday. It's always tech day, orientation laps, and just kind of it's the first event of the year for us, so we had to do the fire drill. You got 12 seconds, got to jump out of your car, so we did that. That's pretty easy. Hopefully everybody practices that and can do that. But Saturday is really where it's a busy day. The new format that happened last year, it becomes a busy day. You're doing the autocross, you're doing D&E, you're doing the practice/qualifying sessions towards the end of the day, and then you're doing road rally, going on a street cruise to Advance Auto Parts, and then coming back. Which is funny because we ran into a bunch of Mardi Gras floats that had happened, a couple weeks earlier on our cruise to the Advance Auto Parts. But Saturday really was a fun day. The autocross track was big. The skid pad at Nola is big. It was fun. It was a really fun course. Chris Smith, Smitty, we call him, came in for the race. He decided he wanted to come out and kind of last minute and got in on the peak sponsorship spot and got in there. Smitty's always a tough person to beat. His car is very well developed. He's a show car, race car builder as a profession, so he knows exactly what he's doing, and his car is phenomenal. So I knew it was going to be tough on the weekend for us to come out with the P1, come out with a win. And so just kind of went out there to have fun, to battle, and to see if I could get close to him. Just kind of fast forwarding, he had a phenomenal weekend. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about the points at the end here, but he came out just guns blazing. He must have been rested and ready with that car and himself. But I knew that was going to happen because he's just such a great driver. A good friend as well, and just veteran of the series, so it's good to see him back out there. Sometimes there's maybe been some issues with the car, but he's got it sorted out last year, and he's ready to go. So he's going to be a force to reckon with this year. So he came out strong on autocross. I came out in second position in the GTV class on autocross. I think I was top 10 in autocross, so I was happy with that. And essentially out on the track, I believe I was maybe ninth on the track. So when we did the practice/qualifying to see who had the fastest times, I was ninth. Smitty again tore it up and was probably third or fourth, maybe third. So just tearing it up out there. And so, seeing that, you can kind of line yourself out and you kind of see what's going on with autocross. You see what happens with the qualifying. And you just have to come out on Sunday and give it your best on the peak performance challenge, which is that start-stop box. It's a braking and acceleration challenge. Car did pretty well. One thing I will add, and this will probably be out after or before I make a Instagram post of a big burnout that I did on the autocross portion, but I was just giving it my all. The car's probably 300 or 400 pounds heavier than the nearest competitors that in the GTV class. So I've got a lot of weight, but those are all excuses. I can get the weight out of the car if I wanted to, and I will over time. But this year, I want to kind of focus more on my driving. We did some big enhancements last year. We did some small tweaks this year, but I want to work more on the driver mod, my driving. And I did show it, but then I went back to some of my old ways in that I just pushed the car a little too hard, got the supercharger spooled up, and the car over-rotated on a right-hand big sweeping turn on the Autocross. Started to spin around, and I was so far away from anybody with cones and any people or anything like that. I kept my foot in it and created a little bit of burnout. I know the cameras are out there, the live stream's on. So, it's out there on the live stream. I'll have a post on it, but, anytime I can do spins for grins and do it for the fans, I'll do it. So I did it. It's been a while since I've done it. So I felt good that I spun it around, kept it pretty hot, kept the tires pretty fired up. The smoke was going, and I drove my way through it. So pretty professional burnout. So I may or may not be preparing myself for LS Fest burnout contest. So stay tuned on that. We'll see what happens. But that was fun. And Sunday, the speed stop, it's a peak performance challenge. It's a braking acceleration challenge. Did pretty well. I think, my car and the braking, I don't have the ABS, and a lot of people are adding that in the GTV class, and it's really helpful for two things. It doesn't flat spot the tires, so you feel like you're driving on squares when you're on the track and flat spot your tires. But it also allows you to kind of come in a little quicker and just mash that brake. If I were to mash mine, it just locks them up, spin around. So at some point we'll put the ABS in there. I'm looking at a few different options that I want to do, but it'll be in there so we can make the car faster. But again, I want to kind of work on my driving, not have any excuses on why I need to have something or not something to win or what have you. But this year is going to be more of working on that and seeing if I can put myself on podium at every race. So the track was fun. I've never driven on Nola not in some sort of rain or damp conditions. So we had perfect dry, probably 75 to 82 degrees. Just great conditions. The car did really well. Got up to about 152 on the straightaway, maybe 153. Probably could have got a little bit more, but I just don't late brake like I should into turn one. So could have got a little more there, probably let off a little early, but I didn't realize how fun the S's in the back of the track are. I mean, they're high speed and they are fun. So had a real good time on the track. Shaved off about almost 2 seconds off my personal best. So, I mean, that's considering that I've had some, somewhat dry to damp conditions. And so to shave off that much time, I'm pretty happy with it, but I'm not sure what my dry time would have been in the past, but I'm definitely getting faster and faster. I'm getting, more aggressive but under control, and that's really, like I said, that's my theme for 2023 is to just work on my driving. There's a lot to work on. If you haven't raced cars and you're just a car guy or gal or whatever, and you kind of maybe drive fast in places on the street that you shouldn't or whatever over the years, racing on a track's totally different. So it doesn't matter how good you think you are or how good you aren't. I mean, I've gone crazy on four-wheelers and all sorts of stuff. So I'm pretty okay with sliding. I'm okay with speed. I don't have issues with it. But taking all of that, your tires can only have so much grip. So with street tires, you've got to figure that out. And so that's where the driving component comes in. Everybody can stick their foot in it and hit the brake. But being able to work the tires, work the car, set the car right, have the right line, these are all things that take a lot of time. So, if you've never done it, and it's tough to appreciate, and it's also tough to appreciate how exhausting it is. If you talk for a living, if you're, someone who talks in front of people a lot, how mental exhaustion happens. You could talk for an hour and be mentally exhausted like you worked out all day. It's the same thing with racing. I mean, there's just a lot going on that you have to think about. There's people out there, you're going high speeds, everything has to work out. There's different visual conditions that you can't really see where you're at in some cases, whether it's the sun or just a blind corner. So a lot of stuff going on. Nola's a fun track though. I have a new appreciation for it in the dry. I didn't have it before, but it's a really fun track, and I finally got to realize that. So I was excited to be out there. I'm kind of glad we went. You know, sometimes in the back of all of our heads, if we're being honest, we're thinking it's just going to rain, and you know, it's not going to be as fun. But it was great. Nola's a great complex. They've really got that place set up, and to be out there with SVRA and Trans Am, just tons of stuff going on. Really awesome experience. So Nola was fun. We ended up second in class, and we scored 482 points, which would be a phenomenal score, except for Chris Smitty scored 498. 498. He's probably the fourth person in the whole history of Optima Ultimate Street Car to score that high of a score. You're talking it's there with the people that have won the Optima Ultimate Street Car, the fastest street car in the country, have scored the 498, and he's in a different atmosphere up there with scoring that type of level at an event. So kudos to him. Great effort. I mean, he was lights out. He was, top 3, 2, and everything. Obviously, to have that many points. Scored 100 on the D&E, which is the design and engineering. I got second. That's the part to where I was, saying if you have just a straight race car with big wings and arrows and all that other stuff, you'll go really fast, but you're not going to score very well on the D&E, because our series is how fast can a show car that's a race car go, and can it perform and be reliable. And so that's the linchpin. You can't be just doing one shot, make a big record pass, and then you're done. You've got to do multiple events, multiple driving technique and styles, reliability, and you've got to do it. That's what makes the Optima Ultimate Street Car hard, is that we've got weight in our cars that you wouldn't want in a race car, because we have to do the design and engineering. You have to have the accoutrements of lights, horns, blinkers, a trunk, just all those things. So that's kind of the things that set our series apart. That's very unique. There is no other series in the country that does that. So it's a one of a kind. So we are the series for the true street car pro touring. See how fast you can go and get it done out on a racetrack. So kudos to him. Great job. Smitty's sitting top of the ranks now. 2 races in. He's number 1 at 498 points. I'm sitting number 2 at 482. Ryan Breezy with a 69 Camaro as well. He got 467 and won out at Thunder Hill a couple weeks ago before this race. And then Hobaugh with a 73 Camaro came in at 463, so he's in 4th. So that's your top 4. Top 4 cars are all Camaros. So it's gonna be the year of the Camaros again, I think. It was Breezy, Hobaugh, me, all last year as well, and now Schmitty's got his car going, so Schmitty's up there. He's going to be a tough one to come over the top of, because when you score a 498, that's going to be really tough. That's going to be, I don't want to say what would have to happen for that to happen, but it would be very tough, and we're all gonna go for it. We're all gonna try to come after him, and we'll see what happens. But that's the points ranking right now, sitting in second after 2 rounds, and there's more rounds to go. We'll be doing Road America, Daytona, which is going to be exciting. Really fast, they say, like really fast. Road America's fast. I mean, I go 163 miles an hour at Road America. I can only imagine what Daytona will be, but then we'll finish it up at VIR, and then hopefully get an invite to the SEMA Invitational, Optima Ultimate Street Car Invitational, and we'll go from there. But just wanted to do this quick video, give an update, a race recap. Want to say thanks to Fram Filters and the Fram Racing oil filter side for sponsoring the YouTube page here, and for being a great partner for the Texaco Camaro, and we'll see you next time.